Town in front. Because a minute from time, 3 precious points turned into 1 as Kenilworth Road turned into monsoon territory. Matthew Jackson clattering into Phil Turner. Last week Notts County were on the receiving end of a late penalty decision, which must have made it all the sweeter for manager Neil Warnock when Tommy Johnson stepped up to equalise. Town have got the worst away record in Division 1, but they're a different proposition at Kenilworth Road, as Sheffield Wednesday found out half an hour gone and Chris Woods can only block Richard Harvey's shot. Mick Harford reacts quickest. But right on half-time, David Hurst's reactions are just as good at the other end. No net buster this time from Hurst, but it didn't have to be. The real drama, though, was confined to the final 10 minutes. Luton forced the pace, and with the Wednesday defence and Woods caught flat-footed, Kurt Nogan volleys them back in front. But seconds from the end, enter John Sheridan. The Republic of Ireland international gives a new meaning to the 1-2. If ever a goal deserved to salvage a point, that was it.
On their first division life was further threatened by their 7th away defeat. 1-0 at Norwich, the goal scored by Rob Newman, Norwich's first league win for 5 matches.
Matthew Jackson, Everton's £600,000 signing from Luton, makes an early return to Kenilworth Road, and a rewarding one too for the young fullback. Because these are depressing times at Luton. 2 wins and 13 goals in 18 matches is all Luton have to show for their efforts so far this season. Their fans staged a protest before the match, but to little avail. The only goal of the game coming from Everton. A great run down the left by Peter Beagrie. His cross finds Robert Baccia, the Polish international, who gives Alec Chamberlain no chance. 1-0, the final score.
Spurs had only taken 1 point from 5 games prior to this. Luton going in front a minute before the break with only their 9th league goal of the season. Mick Harford, who's got most of them. Well, after 59 minutes, the lights failed. Teams returned after a quarter of an hour, and Spurs' response was electric. Paul Walsh buzzing about, and Scott Houghton on a substitute equalised. His first goal for the club coming at the 2nd attempt. A minute later, they were in front. Goal of the day, contenders C. Gary Lineker making the art of goal scoring look simple, but he does so well. Losing his marker and attacking the near post. There was no way back for Luton when Houghton got his second. Goal of the day, contender D, spotting Chamberlain betwixt and between. Audacious attempt, wasn't it? Worked a treat. Well, just for good measure, Lineker got another, his 9th in 9 games, inevitably from close range. They don't make him like him in Japan. Manchester City had won their 5 previous away games in major competitions, compared to Luton's barren run of 11 in League and Cup. Mick Harford's opener, Redmond's slip was costly, but he paid an even heavier price later on. Adrian Heath's corner, Niall Quinn's height, and Keith Curle's bravery were the 3 factors in City's first equaliser. Luton going back in front when Telfer swung in a teaser, and John Dreher got a foot in and deflected it too firmly for Heath on the line. City's second equaliser on the hour, goal of the day, contender B. Quinn to Brightwell, Brightwell to Quinn, magnificent goal. Now in the closing minutes, Brian Steen went racing through. Steve Redmond made contact. The referee's interpretation, a professional foul. You can guess the rest. This was the closest thing you could get to a relegation battle before Christmas, with Luton going in front. Only their 3rd away goal of the season. Paul Telfer's rising shot, his first in the league. But they had to settle for a point, their 4th out of the last 30 available. Paul Beasley's header, Ian Bryson's touch, equalising for Sheffield United with only 2 minutes to go. Luton still firmly rooted at the bottom.
And Luton themselves could easily have gone ahead. Harford's lob fingertipped over by Lukic. But the second half brought out Leeds' killer instinct. First, Wallace appearing from nowhere to smash home the first goal. And his 6th in 5 games. Then within a minute, Gary Speed made sure of the points with another spectacular strike. It was enough to give the Leeds manager the rare treat of being able to enjoy his work.
Which is not always possible when you're playing professional football. Difficult to enjoy losing, difficult to enjoy being outplayed. But when you're on top of your job and you're doing things well and you're getting pleasure from what you do, that's a nice bonus.
Can they win the First Division Championship? There's such a long way to go, but we certainly know now, it's not clever speculating, they're definitely going to be in the shake-up. They're one of three with Arsenal and Man United. They're possibly one of two with either of those two, and they might just win it.
Full highlights in the Anglia region tomorrow lunchtime.
And produced today's biggest shock with their 1-0 victory over Arsenal. Mick Harford took advantage of some appalling Gunners defending to score 11 minutes from the end of the game. The Arsenal manager George Graham described it as his side's worst performance of the season.
Here's something worked out on the training ground that really worked a treat. Richard Harvey putting Luton in front in their fourth successive home game, and that's contender D. Their third successive win, lifting them off the bottom. Mark Pembridge bearing down on Dave Besant, who told the referee, "He's conning us both. I made a perfectly legitimate attempt for the ball." Well, that could explain why Besant stayed on the pitch. Now here's an event in itself. John Dreher's penalty technique.
Just 33 seconds gone at the City Ground when Mark Pembridge let fly from 25 yards, 1-0 Luton. Luton were looking good for yet another revival win until Des Walker burst through. This his first senior goal in 313 attempts. Happy New Year goal, Des.
A humiliating start for Liverpool. Nick Tanner presenting Luton with only their fifth away goal of the season. Total breakdown in communications between Tanner and Grobbelaar, who then reverted to sign language. Luton were only 5 minutes away from their first away win when Liverpool's pressure finally paid off. A little bit scrappy, Steve McManaman popping it over the line. Now there's no one better than playing to the final whistle than Liverpool. It's the old Shankly philosophy. Hit them where it hurts, when it hurts, and there's no better time than the 90th minute. Dean Saunders attacking John Barnes' delicate touch into the near post. Luton and West Ham playing the survival game. So what a relief for the Hammers, their first winning goal in 10 games. Mike Small aided by a slight deflection. West Ham move up one, Luton go bottom. Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough for the first time since Leeds hit them for 6. 3 Luton defenders doing the hokey-cokey. David Hurst sticking his left leg out. The big fella back in business and with a big part still to play in an absorbing match. Luton levelling 4 minutes later when David Priest finished well. Now when you've scored only 6 times away from home all season, taking a 2-1 lead is something of a luxury. Intentional or not, Chris Kamara's pass found Warren Oates on the burst, and Luton were in position to register their first away win of the season. But Trevor Francis sent out Wednesday's super sub, himself. Hurst to Francis, the cross hit deep, and the American international John Hart sent it back for Paul Williams to equalise with 12 minutes to go. Francis then released Carlton Palmer, who kept his cool and showed tremendous balance for such a tall, lanky character. Hurst's contribution at the back post was immaculate. John Hart's the winner, and a Yankee Doodle dandy of a finish. Luton off the bottom with their first win of the year. Norwich aren't travelling too well at the moment and have lost their last 5 games away from home. Little David Priest buzzing purposely. Mark Bowen all of a tizzy. Nice finish. Contender D. David Fleet was telling me last week that his team are their own worst enemies at times, that going in front is almost the kiss of death. But not on this occasion. Mick Harford wrapped it up shortly before the end.
No luck for Luton at Main Road. They went behind after 14 minutes when Niall Quinn's through ball reaches David White, who looked suspiciously offside. The linesman thought not, so that's White's 14th of the season. Luton were well in contention throughout the first half though, and only a desperate goal line clearance from player manager Peter Reid stopped Paul Telfer from equalising. Within 3 minutes of the restart, Luton was sunk. First, Steve McMahon's cross is headed back by Quinn, and fullback Andy Hill scores with a superb strike from the edge of the box. Then came one of the most bizarre goals of the season. Peter Reid knocks forward a speculative ball, and the Luton defence relaxed with no apparent danger on hand. But keeper Steve Sutton casually kicks the ball back upfield just as the referee waves play on, and David White stabs the ball straight back into the net, 3-0. The Luton defenders argue, but referee Kevin Breen stands by his decision, and a look at the replay shows why. No question that White is in an offside position, and the linesman flags, but Breen waves play on, and it's the oldest football adage in the book that you must play on to the whistle, which is exactly what David White does for his 15th goal of the season. Luton's spirits were broken by now, and after 77 minutes, City made it 4 when the Hatters defence fails to clear a loose ball that eventually forced the substitute Adrian Heath. Manchester's great season continues as Luton slip closer and closer towards relegation.
The goal kick that went wrong, Sheffield United Simon Tracy seeing his kick headed straight back into the path of Brian Steen. Tracy had one eye on Steen, Steen had one eye on Tracy. The ball broke kindly for Luton, and Steen scored his first goal for the club since the 1988 League Cup final against Arsenal. Sheffield United, who won their previous 4 league games, equalised 4 minutes later when Luton failed to clear an awkward up and under. Ian Bryson. But Luton's young team played some neat football, and their winner was well worked and a deserved goal of the day contender. Scott Oakes put in a penetrating cross which bounced and sat up nicely for Mick Harford, the club's top scorer. Well, they should have won more comfortably, but credit to Tracy, who'd obviously done his homework and sussed out John Dreher's penalty technique.